The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about Kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, brother. You make me laugh, all right. You make me cry. Oh, shut up. These guys, they're rock and roll. Oh, that's better. Easier on the ears there.
Oh, yeah. What happened there? Cut them right off. Now, I don't like that. Things are going spooky already. Spooky action at a distance. Good morning, people of Earth. Today is June 6th, Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. D-Day, right? June 6th, D-Day. Nobody's talking about that. No, it's like, all right, we can forget about that one now. That's how people are acting. Anyway, we're not on YouTube. If you spread the word for me, I would appreciate that. We're not on YouTube until next Monday. Here's the thing with that, and there's an article about it on Substack. I encourage you to subscribe to my Substack and keep up with the news. Keep up with the news. About a year ago, I had a woman on named Patricia Corey on the evening program, and she was promoting her book, Hacking the God Code. And it's about her crazy conspiracy theory that the COVID vaccine, in her insane mind, contained something that would just mess with our DNA and turn us all into robots. That's an absurd idea. And I pushed back on that idea consistently and about how crazy it was. She also said that the pinhole light for your television remote, your, what is that, infrared receiver for your television remote was a camera, and there was somebody else on the other side monitoring every television set. She said a lot of crazy things. I pushed back on all of them. A year later, YouTube decides that violates their policy. Now, I have a disclaimer. I push back. I can't control what the guests are going to say. I can control what guests I'm going to have on. But I do my best to point out whenever things are off the rails and pull people back to reality. That's all you can really ask for people. Now, a year goes by, and YouTube decides to give me a strike over that because it violates community guidelines. Doesn't make much sense to me, especially when there are people who don't push back whatsoever on those crazy ideas. They just let people say whatever they want, and they don't get strikes. Talking about the big channels. Could be Brett Weinstein, or could be Joe Rogan, or any number of right wing people who are anti-vax who buy into that insanity about microchips and cell towers and all that kind of insane conspiracy theories. Anyway, so I got a 7-day ban on YouTube, so we won't be there, which sucks. It really, really sucks. But there's nothing I could do about it. I appealed it. The appeal took 12 seconds to say, no, we reviewed your content. Now, you can't review an hour and 7 minutes of content in 12 seconds, ever. But that's what YouTube claims they did. No, we reviewed it, and the violation stands, the strike stands. So I have a strike on me now, which if I get 2 more in the next, I guess it is 90 days or something, I'm gone. They'll bounce me off the channel. If I get 1 more in the next 90 days, I'll get a 2-week suspension. And so I'm thinking now about past content and who might have said crazy things and removing content, because I don't want them to find out somebody else said something really stupid 2 years ago or 3 years ago and a reason to give me another strike. The censorship policy is both hypocritical and insane. You can't control what other people are going to say. You can push back on it, which I do. And I offer the disclaimer that independent fact-checking is encouraged. We want you to check on everything, not just what the guests say, but what I say. So it kind of really blows. Thank you, YouTube, for really blowing. We are, oddly enough, probably, and I say probably because I don't know, on Gov's Comedy's podcast YouTube channel, broadcasting there, but I can't see those comments if somebody's there watching on my dashboard. I can only see comments if they are on my YouTube channel. So, and if you're on my YouTube channel, you're not seeing anything to comment on. So we are on Facebook, we are on Twitch, we are on Twitter, a couple other platforms, but not YouTube, not today. Today, my guest is supposed to be Jay Morente, who is a actor, comedian, and entertainer, teacher from, I think he's from Syracuse, from upstate New York. Look forward to talking to him if and when. That will be about 9:15, I guess. Robert Kennedy Jr. is making not a believer out of me. Listen, I'm not going to vote for the guy, but I think he's crazy. I think he's an Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. He's one of these anti-vaxxers. He would love Patricia Corey and her crazy ideas. But he's making a believer out of me that he can make a big impact on the presidential election. Not saying that he could win. Maybe. Right now, he's running as if I say, not as if he's a Republican. He's a Democrat. He claims he's a multi-generational Democrat. He's not. His father was a Democrat after he was a Republican. So he's one generational Democrat. But running, everybody who is backing him, everybody who is saying they're going to vote for him are right-wingers and far right-wingers. Not, I guess people are coming off the Trump train now that it appears Trump is going to go to jail. It definitely appears that way. But hey, who's been saying that for 7 years and it hasn't happened yet? So there's that. Anyway, that's what's new in the world. Now, China is drilling the world's deepest hole. They're drilling a hole to America. Somebody told China that if you dig a hole deep enough, you can get to America. And they're going to look into that. They, I guess, 11 miles down. is how far they want to go down and find out. Let me see the story. I think it was how far into the Earth's crust they can get. China, 11,000 miles. I'm sorry, 11,000 meters shaft. So 11,000 meters. Who the fuck? No, I can't do how many miles that is. It's pretty deep. It's pretty. It would be a deep hole. That's China state media has described the 11,000-meter drilling project as a landmark in China's deep Earth exploration. Journey to the center of the Earth is what it is. Drilling of the borehole began Tuesday in a desert in the Tarim Basin in China's northwestern region of Xinjiang, according to Chinese state-run Xinhua news agency. Planned depth of 11,100 meters, the narrow shaft will penetrate more than 10,000 continental strata and reach the Cretaceous systems in the Earth's crust, a series of stratified rocks dating back 145 million years. Oh, anyway, if you've grown up in America and were told that you could dig a hole to China, I guess the myth finally made it over to them, and they're trying to get here. It's one way to travel, by hole. Yeah, that's it, man. Other than that, I have shows this week. Jackie will be with me tomorrow. Now, tomorrow morning, Ian O'Connor, who is a former military intelligence guy, wrote a book on the Kennedy assassination. He's going to be with me to start off tomorrow, but he's older than me. I'll put it that way. And he can only do a few minutes. Stamina, I guess, is a problem. So we'll have him for about 10 minutes or so tomorrow at 9:15. And then Jackie, the joke man, will be with me after that. But nobody will be watching because we're not on YouTube. Really, 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 really sucks, doesn't it? Anyway, that's the story, folks. That's where we are. I'm going to... Oh, I can't. Can I? No, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. I want to share this thing, this Twitch link with my Twitter and Facebook people. This is a shame. This is what YouTube has done to me, and this is why I'm kind of depressed right now. I have to admit, I'm a little depressed about the whole friggin' thing. You work hard to build up your YouTube channel, and then they can just take it away from you arbitrarily, and for nothing. For absolute, I was absolutely trying my best. There you go, D-Day. I'm the only one with a D-Day remembrance on their social media. I first one I've seen so far, and it's me. But the intent of the guidelines is to make sure people don't spread misinformation, and I was on board with that 100%, and far more than a lot of the bigger channels that don't get strikes. So it's hypocritical. It's just not cool. It's stupid. It's stupid on their part. What do I do? What do I do? I keep going on. I keep moving forward like a shark that's been wounded. I will keep moving forward. So that's the story, folks. Hoping to hear from Jay Moranti. I'm not even sure it's pronounced Moranti. It's got an E on the end. It could be Morant. But Jimmy Durante had an E on the end, and he pronounced it Durante, so I'm going with Moranti. And that's the deal. I'm going to take a quick break and let you know about cold coffee, and I will be right back. Cold coffee is the best coffee in America. That's what they say anyway. It's going to have to work extra hard for me today because I'm battling a little bit of depression, I think. I'll be back in just a moment. Get yourself some Koa coffee. I'm going to get fresh coffee, and I'll be back. This episode is brought to you by Koa Coffee. If you are a coffee connoisseur and want to experience the best coffee Hawaii has to offer, no blends, no compromise, try the true taste of aloha. Koa Coffee produces premium Hawaiian coffee, hand-picked, expertly roasted, and delivered from Hawaii to your door with aloha. From award-winning 100% Kona coffee grown on the slopes of the Mauna Loa volcano to the unique mocha beans of Maui, they strive to provide their loyal customers with the best quality and freshness. Since 1997, Koa Coffee has been known far and wide as a product of utmost quality, and their awards prove it. Koa Coffee was featured in Forbes' Top 10 Coffees of the World. This is the coffee Forbes called the best coffee in America. Find out what it's all about. Go to minddogtv.com/coffee. Yeah, where's my button? See, I'm so out of it that I can't even go.
Coffee with a Dog, weekdays 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
You know, it's been rainy and overcast here for since the day I was born, 23,000 days ago. It feels that way anyway. It's only been about a week here, but it's depressing. I definitely have. I don't know. I'm sure it's a real thing. I shouldn't even say that. And you know what? I can't get a YouTube strike for, but diagnosing yourself. But seasonal affective disorder. I mean, the sun definitely has a major impact on my mood and who I am, and so when I don't see it for a week, I start to get really angry and sad and grumpy and all those things, and it feels like clinical depression. What I would think what clinical depression would feel like. I want to just sleep all day. Of course, you can't sleep all day. Got shows to do today. I have a show this afternoon for some old folks, and then a thing tonight to do as well. So can't be. But we have a situation now. I wasn't even aware of it. Is Canada on fire? Is that the problem? Is Canada on fire? We're getting smoke. New York State is getting covered with bad air quality. Saying stay inside, keep your inhalers close by if you have asthma, because we're getting smoke from Canada. My guest this morning would know more about that than I would. He's upstate New York, where closer to Canada, and in a place where he would notice the smoke or bad air even more than I would. Now, according to the map, Long Island is completely covered with this crap. You can't, you know what? You can't be mad at Canada. It's not like it's their fault they're on fire, but it certainly isn't cool. I don't love it. Anyway, Jay Moranti, and I hope Moranti is the correct pronunciation. It could be Morant. I've never spoken to him. He's a friend on social media, and he's an actor first, comedian second, teacher, and all-around good guy. And he's here this morning to talk about, well, I'm going to talk about this Shakespeare thing that he's doing. And is he going to be doing it, because I think it's outdoors, is he going to be doing it in this poor Canadian air quality and overcast crap that we're getting in New York? Ladies and gentlemen, please open your ears, open your minds, and help me welcome Jay Moranti. Is it Moranti?
Yes, you nailed it, Matt.
Okay.
You're so good, Jay Moranti.
Well, I figured like
Appreciate
Jimmy
it.
Durante, Jay Moranti.
Yes, there you go. Great job. A lot of people mess it up. A lot of people say Morant,
Yeah, well, you know, that's
Morante.
my concern
Morant.
was that it was probably Morant, and I've been calling
Yeah.
you Moranti for a year and a half now.
Yes, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
I
honored to be here.
appreciate
This
you
is
being
great. This is great.
No, I appreciate you being here very much so. Shakespeare. What's his name?
Yes.
Billy Spearshaker. Uh,
Billy
uh,
Shakes.
yeah. A lot of interest in that still. I mean, because with the dumbing down of America and the dumbing
Right.
down of society, I find like people. I know people who never even heard of
Right.
Shakespeare.
It's a great point. Wow, where do I start? I never liked. Well, okay. When I was in high school, I liked it a little bit. Did like the main ones like Hamlet and Othello and maybe Macbeth. And I thought but it was always hard to understand, right? But that was the challenge. So then when I got into acting, I didn't like it. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm saying. It's terrible. I don't like this. And then I just, maybe it's that little ego thing. We have a little theater here, it's kind of a professional. It's a hybrid. I mean, they have people come from New York City. So it's called the Red House. It's pretty close to a professional theater here. And they mix, union and non-union actors. And I was in a play, a really small play there, and the executive director of the place sent me a private message. He said, I want you to be in Hamlet. And just the fact, oh my God, the executive director is asking me to be in Hamlet. I was all like, I'm going to do it, And, maybe he just asked me because you need like 20 people to be, you needed a lot of people, but I had a small part in Hamlet back in 2014, and I just fell in love with it. Fell in love with Shakespeare right then.
Wow.
And yes, it is really hard to understand. If you're an actor, it's scary. There's a lot of good actors around here that stay away from it because I'm always trying to recruit actors. For Syracuse Shakespeare in the Park, we're in our 21st season, 21st year. I'm on the production board. I was the marketing director. I still help in marketing. I'm like a marketing assistant, so I'm very involved, and I'm always trying to recruit actors. And they're like, Jay, man, Shakespeare, no way, because it is so hard. It is hard to understand, but that's the challenge. Because if you get what you're saying, if you can figure it out and then convey it to the audience, we still have a good number of people. I mean, Thornton Park is up by Syracuse University. It's a beautiful park. I can't. You need to see pictures of it or be there. It's the most beautiful place to watch Shakespeare. It's this open air amphitheater, right? So it's like looks like an old Coliseum. You know what I mean? Except it's grass, so it curves around like a horseshoe. And people just sit on the lawn in chairs or blankets and watch. And you could fit probably 900, I think almost 1,000 people there if you packed it, but we don't. But we still had, like this last weekend, we had 150, 160 people. We averaged about 150 people per show.
Is it only during the weekends or is it all week long?
It's just the weekends. We only do 2 weekends it's 2 shows, June and August. So there's the first 2 weekends of June and the first 2 weekends of August.
So you have 8 weeks off now and are you when you come back in August, are you going to be doing the same Merchant of Venice or is it a different play?
Great question. No, we're doing something very different and interesting. The executive director, Ronnie Bell, wants to do it. He's directing it too. We are doing West Side Story outside.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, in the grass. But that's going to be, and that's kind of based on Romeo and Juliet, right? So that makes sense. And I think people will love that because that's something you can.
Well, it is based on Romeo and Juliet, but it also addresses the point of, more contemporary. And because the question I was going to have about the Shakespeare stuff, are you tempted to like overdo it? I think I would be like overdo the old English accent stuff. It's hard to not once you're doing vows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you turn into what's his name? The guy who was married to Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton.
Richard Burton.
You want to turn into him, and you get that old stuffy English accent. Is that a challenge?
It's a great question. It's a big challenge, and I hope to one day direct. If I ever get a chance to direct, that's the main thing I'm going to hit on all the actors is look, just say it. Yes, you need to really enunciate and be proper, but you don't need to the more you try to sound British or English or whatever, it's terrible. It sounds real speechy, right? Really speechy, and people just fall asleep. So that's you got to really battle that for sure.
Yeah. Now, are you getting? Because the air quality here is, I know it's just, I read it online, but I also have noticed it the last couple of days. And this weekend, was it an issue? Because you can't do Shakespeare with 900 people coughing.
Exactly. We didn't notice it this weekend, but Matt, it's great. You're all over it. When I started watching your show this morning, that's the first thing you were talking. I'm like, that's awesome. He's talking about that because when I went outside today, I could smell it. And the reason I know this is so weird, ready, is I lived in Florida years ago for about 7 years. I worked for Walt Disney, all that stuff. I did the Disney thing. When I was down in Florida, and we would have those fires, and they happen a lot in Florida, right? Because it's just so hot. I can't think when it was. It's usually, I think, around the springtime. It smells. You smell it. You just smell this. It doesn't smell like somebody has a fire going in the backyard, but it is a little bit of a burny, weird smell in the air. And when I went outside, I could smell it. I go, this smells like Florida. What the heck's going on? And I heard something about it the other day. That's what's going on. There's fires that it does affect the air quality. I think everybody's going to be okay, but I guess if you really have a respiratory issue, you should probably be careful. It's a weird smell. It's just very odd.
Syracuse is a big college town.
Yes.
And from what the only thing I remember, and by the way, you are the third alumni of SUNY Brockport that has been on the program, and
SUNY Brockport
in 5 years, and I was there for one semester.
Wow, Matt, that's great. There's a little connection, man.
I was trying to pin down exactly when it was. I think it was the spring semester of 1979 that I was there.
Okay, so
it snowed every day.
I was gonna say, being a New Yorker, did you feel like you were just stuck up in like some weird movie
Siberia
version of Children of the Corn? You were in farm. Like, what is this place? Like, there's no buildings.
I don't know if it's still like this, but then it snowed every day, and I was in the third floor of a dormitory, and the snow covered the dormitory, so I did not have to rent a refrigerator. I could open the window and put my stuff.
Yes, just put the milk.
Does it still snow constantly there, or?
Yeah, we still get a lot of snow in Syracuse, although, and I don't like getting political and all that. The last few, I'm happy with this. The last few winters have been milder, and people are like, "Oh, global warming." I don't know. It's scary a little bit, maybe, but yeah, just it's a very, my family's here. That's the whole thing, man. I mean, I'd rather be in a bigger city, but my family's here, and I was, like I said, I was down in Florida for a while there, but came back, and yeah, it snows. It could start snowing November.
Wow.
And like as in snow, at least that covers the ground. Like, you don't see grass again till March. We've had snow in April. It's very snowy.
But I think from my
winters,
my recollection is that the springs there are better than springtime. Middle spring is more spring-like, more summer-like than Long Island. I don't know, more northern you get in this time of year as we start to turn back towards the sun. Yeah. Northern places get it better, but I always remember because that wasn't just my Brockport year semester was not the only time I went up there, but I always remember springtime being, wow, it's so much nicer upstate New York than it is downstate in springtime. But that's the only time of year it seems.
But okay, so in New York, the New York City area, springtime is what? Is it rainy? What?
Yeah, like a lot of that, and it takes a while. Like we haven't had a 70-degree. Well, I shouldn't say we haven't had one in 2 weeks, but it's been in the low 50s. We had one day where it was 43. I was like, it's almost June. Now it is June, and we're still like today we'll break 60.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great. I think it's pretty. My personal opinion from what I've been through is spring is not that good here. Maybe it's a little better. Maybe we have a little more sunshine, but it's, oh man, Syracuse is weird. What do they say about Syracuse? That we could have every season in one day. It's weird. You could wake up and it could be like, whoa, it's only, May 20th and it's like 70 out. It's warmer. And then a storm comes in, it gets cold. You feel like it's almost going to snow, windy. We just have weird, unpredictable weather. Maybe it's a little better in the spring, but April's kind of a rough month here for sure. But it's great you mentioned that too, because when you were opening the show and talking about seasonal depression, I think, yes, it absolutely is a real thing. It's a pain in the butt. I have it. It's so hard, man. My girlfriend bought me a sun lamp it helps a little, but man, it's because we have stretches here in Syracuse in the winter. Yeah, I don't like snow, but we can go like 12 days. It's easily that long, like with no sun at all. It's just gloomy, no sunshine. It's hard to wake up.
Man,
I
that's
mean,
what
look,
that's
coffee,
killed
I got
me
my
in
coffee.
Brockport.
I got my coffee.
Oh,
I
cool.
gotta have coffee with me, right? I got my coffee. I got my water.
Cool. Yeah,
But
that's,
I think it's a real thing, man. I struggle every year. The sun lamp helps.
yeah.
My
That,
brother tried to help me out and said, "Man, I don't like gyms. I hate you. I should join a gym."
yeah.
You know?
The semester in Brockport, I seriously wanted to kill myself. I mean, because it snowed every day, and being from Long Island, I mean, we got snow,
Right.
but we never got it every single day,
No.
unrelenting. Like I thought, somebody shipped me up to Alaska, and this is the problem was, I went there from eastern New Mexico where we never got any accumulation of snow. I
Right.
went there for a girl. The relationship didn't work
see,
out.
The woman.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You would go all the way to Brockport.
So Brockport
Oregon.
isn't necessarily known as a school for the arts,
No.
but I've had some successful people from the arts who have,
Yeah.
have been on the show. What were you always interested in pursuing acting and comedy as a livelihood?
No, great question, and no, but it was always on my mind. I always kind of wanted to do it, but mainly I'm really a writer. I mean, I write. That's the hardest thing for a writer to admit. He's a writer. Like, did you publish anything yet? No, but I've always been a writer. When I was younger, my dad was like, you should be. And you never listen to your father, right? You should be a writer. What's wrong with you? You write good stuff. Like I would write parts. I'd write poems or parts of stories when I was only, I don't know, 10, 11, or 12, that young. And he said I had potential. And anytime I would take a class. Anyways, long story short, I was an English major, and it was mainly like writing was I was focusing on when I went to Brockport. But like it always happens when you get bit by the bug, I'm like, it was probably a girl. I mean, I met somebody and she was like, hey, next semester you should take an acting class. You just have a lot of energy. I go, yeah, I like acting. So I took enough, theater classes to almost minor in it. You know what I mean? You could say, well, you had a concentration in theater. So I didn't get enough credits to minor in it, but it almost could say I have an English degree from Brockport with a minor in theater, almost. So
I saw some comedian doing
something.
something about English degrees the other night. It was pretty funny. It's like he was saying, basically, my friend went to, 6 years to get his master's in English. I learned English for free, and my friend is working as a teacher.
Yep.
Teaching English. He said it's a pyramid scheme because that's all you can do with an English degree is teach English. So it's basically it's like a multi-level marketing type of pyramid scheme. But at least you're well versed in Shakespeare, at least, and know about it being an English major, right?
Right. Yes. I mean, I do. I love Shakespeare. Like, just to get a little. I know you're in New York City, but anybody watching that might be in the Syracuse area, this coming weekend is the Merchant of Venice. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This coming weekend. I don't know. What are those dates? I'm terrible. 9th, 10th, 11th, maybe. 5:30. 5:30 on Friday, 5:30 Saturday, and the 2:00 matinee Sunday. What's really cool is it's very different. They're doing an all-female cast. It's interesting. It's different, man. All-female cast, but they're not changing the language or Shakespeare. Shylock, although it's a woman, she's playing it as a man. And I'm a traditionalist that way. If you do Shakespeare, I'm fine if a woman wants to be, because, Shakespeare, most of the role, 400 something years ago, most of the main roles are men, right? I mean, you've got in Hamlet, you got Hamlet and Claudius and Polonius and Horatio, and there's Gertrude, there's Hamlet's mom. What could I play? Well, if I was directed, I would cast a female as, even if she was really good, I cast a female as Hamlet, but it can't be like Hamlet, my daughter. It's Hamlet, my son, and I would say she has to play it, not cartoonishly, make sure you're manly, but I want her to play it as a man. I wouldn't want her to play it.
Now, you say you wanted to avoid the politics, but now it's unavoidable because
all right,
just a little bit.
I'll go with you, man.
We don't have. We don't
You're
have to
good.
talk about
I've
how
watched
you're going to vote and all that kind of stuff.
No, you're
but,
good at this.
But this idea about people getting upset about Black Little Mermaid and
Right.
you know, and even you know, the drag queen stuff, and you know, where drag queen initiated from, or drag performance initiated from, was military, all, you know, military stuff where there were no women, so guys were playing female parts and all that stuff. Yeah, so this is classic fodder for the internet people who just love to say controversial things to get attention. Oh God, my God, they're casting women as men. How can they? Oh, it's so outrageous. So, you know, none of that though. You've heard no like
I don't have any issues with like a Black Mermaid. This is great. Can you hear this? I'm so they're like mowing the lawn. It's driving. Is it messing?
A little bit.
Give me 1 second. I gotta shut the window.
I do it all the time.
Of course, the guy's got to be like mowing the lawn right when I apologize. Sorry. Okay.
I hear it all the time. I mean, here we.
I don't know if it was bugging you. I don't have any issues with it. You know, I mean.
No, but nobody else is. Obviously, you're casting him. You wouldn't have any issues. But
Yeah.
nobody else is giving you any flack over it.
No.
I think that's a good thing. Good
Well,
thing.
the biggest thing we're getting a little, but they're saying I think he has. I think our director has handled it well. Is the whole, you know, issue of, you know, it's just not, if you're Jewish, you have issues with the Merchant of Venice because it's kind of, they're like, it's anti-Semitic, you know, and so, I mean, yeah, that's what we've been hearing here. Like, but you know, you handled it well. But I mean, the way I look at it is, well, okay, yeah, it was written a really, really long time ago, first of all. And
right.
Should it be done today? I don't know. I mean, nice guy me would probably stay away from it. But
all right, here's the biggest hot button topic politically that will rock the world and get me some attention. No, I'm kidding. William Shakespeare, was he a real dude? Was it one dude? Do you know?
Oh,
about
that's
this?
the greatest question, man. I wish I knew. I wish I researched that more and could talk about it. I think, right. I don't know. There are people that think he didn't write it.
They're also thinking that he wasn't
even
one person. It was like a bunch of different people.
It's sad. We don't have proof that he really was. I mean, he existed, but was he one guy that wrote? I don't think he wrote it all. No, because I just know from right now trying to get into playwriting a little bit. I love getting help from people. With my girlfriend, you know, we were talking about comedy. She's funnier than me. She just doesn't like to be on the stage. You know, I'll bring a joke to my girlfriend. She'll go. She never laughs at any of my jokes. She just kind of looks. She'll go like, I get it. And then she helps. Like the setup is good. She helps with the punchline. The punchline's never strong enough. But I'm going straight from Shakespeare. You're talking about Shakespeare. He definitely didn't write it all by himself. No way. I don't.
Yeah,
think
you'd have to have a really wide education. Wide, you know.
Yes, right.
Knows about so many different things, and in that time, it wasn't like people were traveling the world, you know. So I don't know. They make a compelling case on both sides. I've heard both of the arguments 100 times now, and I don't know what to believe. That's not a good place to be when it comes to history. I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know too. That drives me nuts. I wish I knew. There's just no way to really know if he. I guess they just don't have enough. You know, they've studied like his writings, things that they have, and they can't really prove for sure that he wrote it all.
Yeah.
You know,
now,
but I don't think he didn't write it at all. I know he was involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he was an actor too. He played some of the roles. He was an actor. He was just very involved in theater. You know, he was like, I don't know if he directed, but he was very involved in getting the theater going. And I think he would write something. He would play one of the parts, but he definitely got help. I think it was written by multiple people. Yeah. Because even like each play is a little different. You know, you've got like, there's the histories. There's oh shoot, I'm so bad. I should know all of them, right? There's Titus. Titus and Macbeth are very rough and bloody, and well, Hamlet, like everybody dies at the end, you know. And then he's got these fluffy like comedies. They're very different. They really range out. I just don't think one guy could do it yet.
That's a good point, because in a modern writer, you can gauge their voice by their work, and you can always tell, like, even though like a Stephen King novel might be about different things, but you could tell it's a Stephen King. His voice is always there. But
Yep.
because this is buried in Old English, we wouldn't be able to tell, but just from that kind of experience. So
Yeah, you can't just study it and go from play to play and say, yeah, see, he had to have written it. Exactly. Great point.
Yeah.
And if you think of like, a playwright like Neil Simon, he was awesome, but he almost everything was comedy.
Right.
Neil
Yeah.
Simon, and great stuff. I love Neil Simon, but you could tell that's a Neil Simon play because it's
Now, Robert Klein, who I talked to a couple of weeks ago,
Yes.
he started out as a drama major at Yale and was going to school for theater, and that led him to comedy. The question I have for you is, because it's rare now. I mean, that was rare then that people went from know, theater to comedy. Does it help, or in any way does it give you any kind of different kind of, I don't know, advantage, or just different skill set than most stand-up comedians are doing now?
I think yes. I think if you have, I can't even imagine. Okay, I started later in comedy, and when I got up there on the stage, the only thing that got me through was I had been on the stage before, right? And maybe I was in a comedy and got some laughs. Now they're two totally different things. I think in a way it's really hard to you just play a role and you're interacting with another actor, usually, unless you're doing a one-man show, and you're playing off of them. You feel a little safer because you have a partner. I mean, you're going without a net. You're by yourself at the mic. Everybody's staring at you, and you go, nothing, But it's so hard. I think it's the hardest performance thing, stand-up comedy. But I never would have got through those first couple times I did comedy if I didn't know kind of what it felt like to be on the spot. I can't. God bless. You know what I mean? Hats off to every man, woman who ever got up and did comedy, just straight up, and never did theater or any kind of acting, or maybe they didn't do any public speaking at all. They just said, "Well, I'm just gonna go for it," because man, it's not like stage fright, but like the butterflies, the nerves I had before I went up, I was pacing around. The guy was like, "Dude, are you all right?" I go, "Yeah, I just seem more nervous than I am," but I was paced. I was like a squirrel, figure eighting. I could not wait to get on the stage to do the jokes.
I get it. Believe me, I've said consistently that stand-up comedy is the bravest thing you can do in the arts. Without a doubt. Now, it strikes me as I'm talking to you and listening to you and looking at you, that I have another friend who is from the Syracuse area, who is very huge, a huge star, and you kind of remind me of him a little bit. Would you be able to guess who I'm talking about?
Mind you, of someone from Syracuse is a huge star
in stand-up comedy. He was in movies and television. He's a magician. Started out as a magician.
Why do I know who? I usually would know, man.
Jeff Altman. Are you familiar with Jeff Altman?
Yes.
Yes.
He's from Syracuse?
Yes.
Oh, wow. This is crazy how we're making these connections. This is good. This is like you and I having like a fun conversation. And forgive me, hopefully your viewers aren't going, this is boring. I mean, I want to be entertaining for you, man. I'm sorry, but you're making these great connections. Okay, so Jeff Altman is hilarious. And I don't know how, but he was years ago. He was at a party that my dad was at, because I really got comedy from my father, and I'm not going to get all sappy, but I love him. God bless him. He died 7 years ago. Love him, miss him every day. Think about him every day. But my dad was so funny, right? But my dad, I could tell he wasn't the type of guy that wanted to deal with I don't want to get up. He was like a salesman. He didn't want to get up on stage, and he'd get angry if they didn't laugh at him, right? But at the party, and I believe him, my dad said, he was really funny, but I was funnier. And I believe that my dad was funnier than Jeff Altman in the room of people. It just was crazy. And I even had proof, like I was, like one of his friends, you were there. Was my dad funny? Your dad, there was like a tie at least. But Jeff Altman was great. He was so funny.
A major difference between Long Island, downstate, and upstate New York is Long Island. We would have statues to Jeff Altman here. We like everybody who makes it and who's a success in any level, they become iconic to the area.
Yes.
where you don't even know that Jeff Altman was from Syracuse. I think that's
Gosh, I feel terrible for not knowing, but you're right. Well, I think I kind of knew he was maybe from around here, Jeff Altman. I appreciate you saying that because he was one of the guys. Again, don't want to bore everybody, but he was one. I would say definitely Robert Klein though. You remember Robert Klein's HBO special? You got to remember it, right?
all of them.
His first one where he did the "I can't stop my leg." Oh my God, he was so good. That was one of the first things that I saw where I thought, I'd love to do that. I don't know if I can, but I would love to do that. Man, he was good. And maybe Robin. Just it's gonna be so eclectic. They don't connect in any way, but like Robert Klein, Robin Williams, but like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, even George Carlin. I was like, wow, these guys are so good, And but then Jeff Altman, yes, when I would see him, maybe he'd be on Johnny Carson or something.
Yeah.
And then he kind of got it. That poor guy though, he just didn't have good luck. He was great. He had like a sitcom that just didn't take off. He would show up in movies. He would always kind of just miss.
He was
but he still had. He had a career. I mean, come on.
Regular on Dukes of Hazzard, which was
okay, right? Yes.
And he played the drug dealer in Rodney Danger's neighbor, Playboy drug dealer in Easy Money and Back to School.
Yes,
he's in both of those movies. So.
Yes,
but yeah, no, Jeff is iconic in the West Coast.
He's great.
Scene, from the Comedy Store, Magic Castle, all that kind of stuff. But and not to make this whole thing about Jeff, but you talk about Tonight Show. I mean, Tonight Show and Late Show with David Letterman.
I know he was on Letterman for sure. Yeah,
157 times.
He was on Letterman 157 times.
Yes.
Oh well, see that's all you got to say.
Well, he was best friends with Letterman back going to the Comedy Store days. So, that was. But yeah,
wow.
Syracuse comedy scene is it? I think there's two major comedy clubs that people play there. Now, I'm not. Again, I'm a pass through type of guy. Going between here and Buffalo, you pass through Syracuse.
I get you. There's not a lot in Syracuse. It's okay. Syracuse is like, yeah, we're here. I wish, man, because I'm more like I want the arts. It's getting better. I care more about the arts, and we're just sports town, Up at SU Orange, yes. Go up and watch SU football, SU basketball. Yeah, okay, but go to a show, go to see theater. But yeah, we have actually all we have now is the Funny Bone, and it's at Destiny USA, our mall, theater in a mall, or comedy in a mall.
So are you getting a lot of those self-produced? Because right now, what we see here is comedy at a pizza place, comedy at a barber shop, or comedy at a tattoo joint.
It's funny you say that because my girlfriend and I want to do it. I want to do she wants to be involved with it. I mean, I'd be the main actor. We want to make a little skit video where I literally am doing stand-up comedy, like at a laundromat, with somebody's got sneakers in the dryer.
Yeah.
It's all loud behind me. And I'm going, okay, so yeah, how about those, how about those Yankees or, and like, there's like two people sitting in the audience just staring at me. I just do really bad jokes, which I do.
Sadly enough, I've lived it. I've done it.
But I'm telling you, yes, that's what we have here. We had an open mic. This is great. It didn't last. We had an open mic downtown Syracuse. I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, because I could give you a plug, people. But God bless them, an ice cream shop. And it was just long and narrow. It wasn't really good to sit anywhere, right? And the owner said, listen, to the comics, it's okay if you guys are dirty, you work blue. But if kids walk in, you got to stop. And I can't remember the joke. I'm blown anyways. But this girl, this female comic was up there, and she was right on the edge of a punchline. And she was like, da-da-da. Oh, and she had to stop because these little kids walked in. She could not say what she was going to say. It's funny. That was funny enough to watch the comics go, okay, I'm done. Like they would just stop. But to me, and I think you are have seen enough and know, and Robert Klein. To me, I don't want to be all like, oh, goody man. But I think clean is harder, right? It's harder to be funny and just do clean comedy, right? So I respect you have to write. You have to really write. So
I think you're right about that. And I wasn't always on that side of the argument, but the more I see people trying to because it came up a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
That I do a lot of work in facilities, nursing homes, assisted living type of things, and
Right.
I've done it for a long time. And people say, "Well, that's not really, working in it." It is, first of all. There are people my age. I mean, not everybody is like so old that they're just like dementia cases or whatever. Although I'm getting there. But it will help you, work on you're practicing it, you're getting paid for it,
Right.
and you are improving your craft every time you do it. So, but the caveat is, if you're going to go in there doing comedy, you really have to be super clean in those places, and
Yeah.
not everybody can do it. And I've seen people trying to do it
Yeah.
and like struggling. So
Yeah.
I can't think of any. I can think of one instance where a guy actually had to stop himself in a punchline. We were working. We were doing comedy at the Wiz.
Right.
Remember, Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Yeah. I do.
It was a lunchtime comedy show. This was in the '90s, and
I love
there
it.
was a guy telling a joke about the red dot special on Christmas trees. In a Christmas tree park, a lot where they're selling Christmas trees, and if you saw a tree with a red dot on it, you go in and chop it down. And he was in the middle of telling that joke, and he just stopped. And I looked at him like, "What?" He said, "Look behind you." And there was an Indian couple with the red dot, in their head, and he just stopped himself in this middle of it. I can't go through with this. But yeah, talk about weird places to do comedy.
Yeah, there you go. I tell you, man. They were doing one in a pizza shop. What else here? Same kind of thing. Just like, where are they doing it? Wow. Okay, something brewery in a really weird spot. Like, and it looked like they were in, even the way on Facebook, the photos, it looked like where are they? Are they in the warehouse? It's just
Yeah.
odd.
I don't fault anybody for taking any work, because again, no matter what you do, as long as you're improving your craft, getting paid for it, hopefully that's definitely, in my opinion, getting paid for it will help you build your craft, even if it's $20 or whatever. It's the subconscious message your brain gets that people are willing to put down their hard-earned money to see you perform. It will excite you and get you more creative and get you working harder on the next set. I've always believed that. So I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
So what do you do for now? Do you have to create your own opportunities? Are you producing your own shows? I mean, with one comedy club in the area.
Actually, right now, I with a friend of mine, Carl Patzer, Carl and I are doing an open mic, so we don't get paid, obviously, right? But it's good to get back into it. I've been out of it for a while because it's weird for me. Everybody's different, right? I wish I could. I can't really do both at the same time and feel like I'm doing them both well. So if I'm in a play and I'm really focusing on it, and it's a big part, and somebody goes, "Jay, I got this gig. It actually pays. I got a gig for you. You got to do 10 minutes. It's in Binghamton. That's a little bit of a drive. I'm like, I should, but I'm like, man, I can't. I've got a play going on. So anyways, right now I need a break. I've been doing so many plays. I'm like, I need a break from that. I mean, I'm helping out with Syracuse Shakespeare in the Park, but I'm not acting in this at all. So right now we do it like every other Tuesday at 7:30, and it's at Trappers, everybody, in East Syracuse, which is it's kind of a restaurant. It's like a pizza pub restaurant place. It's got a bar. They got a cool little room off the side, and every other Tuesday I'm hosting, which I was going to say when we were talking about comedy, I at least found my niche there because I'm high energy. So, and I don't want to make that cop out like, the host doesn't have to be funny. You still have to do jokes and set them up. But again, just high energy, get everybody excited, do some bad jokes just so they get that rhythm in their ear of like punchline, even if they go, I can then go, okay, I'm sure you're ready for your first comic, so
I'm wondering
I like hosting. So I will host that.
I'm trying to, because in my world,
yes,
matching hosts and MCs and the artists that are coming on is really important. And if you get somebody like you who goes up high energy, and then you get like a Stephen Wright character coming up as your first actor,
right?
Hi everybody, You know, that could be like a weird switching gears for people.
Absolutely. No, good point. That's a great point. Someone told me that too. And I was like, oh, I like that, man. When I was really getting more into it, he was like, dude, you're high energy, but you got to be careful. I said, all right. But see, that's where my acting ability, I could adjust. So if you said to me, Jay, man, you got to dial it way down, I think I could. But it's a great point. You can't just be crazy, guy, and then go to Stephen Wright. If you're doing a show, see, this is an open mic. So it's like, I mean, and we want it to be a pure open mic, although mainly we only have comics, but we like, I don't know. I just like letting people, if somebody wants to come up with his guitar and sing a song, if somebody wants to read a poem, I just think we had one night that was really mixed. Some guy, it was great. Some guy came in and, you know, we have music. Carl's got he does walk up music. So it's not just like an open mic. It doesn't feel like an open mic in an ice cream shop where it's like, okay, microphone. Hi. Okay, folks, we're here. We got the music. You know, we started off and Carl had, you know, he had the karaoke. He had the karaoke back music for like a Neil Diamond. I think the dude sang Sweet Caroline or something. It was great. Everybody's singing along. So when it's mixed like that, it's fun because, okay, he's saying, okay, now here comes some guy. He's really filthy and dirty. Okay. Here comes this sweet little older woman who's talking about her cat. It's fun. She's great. But I want to say to her, like, you know, just as a exercise, I don't want to say her name. Let's say her name is Sally. As you know, let's say her name really is Sally. I want to say to her, Sally, next time though, as an exercise, don't do any jokes about your cats. Okay, next open mic, just try other stuff. Try a joke about ice cream. But, yeah.
Well, you know what? There is something to being branded that is a positive thing. Like, you know, and I don't know who I was talking to about this. Oh, it was Keith Lowell Jensen who was talking about genres in comedy, and it helps the audience prepare for what, you know, because we were talking about crowd work especially, and he said if the audience knows that you're there for crowd work or you're a crowd worker guy, they're going to be more into that, and then if heckling doesn't become a thing, it's just crowd work and they're used to that. But if somebody who is not known for crowd work it just starts in with somebody in the audience and starts doing something, that's when heckling begins. And he said, he was bringing out the point, we need, and a lot of comics reject this idea, genre or styles, you know, what kind of comic you are, put you in a genre or categories like prop comics or you know, physical guys or storytellers and all that kind of stuff. I think it helps the audience fit. So if you know it's the cat, you're going to see the cat lady and expecting a bunch of cat lady jokes.
That's true. It's okay.
Yeah. Tell me about your Disney experience. What did you do there?
Oh, wow. That was 900 years ago. Okay. Remember when the Disney Studios was the Disney MGM Studios?
Yeah.
Like in the 90s? That's when I was there. I started working at Pleasure Island just to get in, right? That was weird because that was like at night and I didn't really like that as much. And then I got into the Disney MGM Studios. I was a host for the walking tour inside the Magic. It was an hour long. We used to laugh. The most boring. You tried so hard, man, because it was the walking tour. We're going through, at least, you know, it's hot out. It's nice and cool inside. We're walking through the sound stages that we have here. Yes. And looking down on soundstage number one, if they were shooting, nothing was ever going on. You know, you'd be like, if they were shooting today, it would be this. Or no, sometimes they were. Shoot, I can't remember. I think it was like the Mickey Mouse Club. I swear it was the time that like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake were on that.
Wow.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So there was like the Mickey Mouse Club was shooting sometimes. Right. So I could say, see everybody, and you just moving through. And so that was fun. It was good for me to get on a microphone and you know, because I was always thinking about comedy. It took me ever to have the guts to do it, but I was like, you know, you're not doing jokes then, but you're like, okay, everybody, we're going this way now. And there was some corny Disney joke written.
No, that's great training for you know, it's an important thing. And you do get a chance to ad lib a little bit on that kind of stuff. I remember, what was the Three's Company guy? The guy who was the star, the male on Three's Company, John
Ritter.
Right. His brother was that for Universal Studios. He was the tour guide type of thing, walking tour guide for Universal Studios. And he was really good, really entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm talking 100 years ago.
Yeah.
I one of my first jobs was at Disney, and
Oh wow, that's awesome.
in the magic shop on Main Street the year it
Wow.
opened. The year it opened, yeah.
Awesome, man.
I was a runaway.
You
And
You were a runaway.
I was a runaway. I was 14 years old.
Oh wow.
And I went there with the specific idea of going to work at Disney World because they were opening up Disney in Florida, not in California. And I had been to California 100 times and
Yep.
loved that place. And I always wanted to work at Disney. And I went and I worked at the magic shop until the FBI found out there was a runaway working there, and they threw
Wow.
me out.
God
of there.
bless you, man. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So that's cool. That was a good experience for
Yeah,
you.
no, it is. It's a great experience. I mean, I also worked at Muppet Vision 3D. I don't know if it's still going, that attraction. Muppet Vision 3D, you remember that one?
Yeah.
There was a show there. That's where I had some cool stuff happen in that, and I didn't choke. You have to introduce the show, right? So it's something like da da da. Now put on your 3D glasses as presents Jim Henson's Muppet Vision 3D, right? So I did that little intro, and I knew someone. I wish they didn't tell me. Someone told me that Steven Spielberg is in the audience, so I can always say I did my spiel for Spielberg. That
Wow.
was it, man. I was excited.
Wow. No,
It's just a cool thing to know that, you know. So I had little
Absolutely.
run-ins with people, but you can't, you get in trouble if you have your name tag on and you're working and you're a cast member. You can't talk to like stars that are just, you know what I mean, walking around. But just to know that was cool. And then the other thing is, this is sad though, because I love Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was coming into Muppet Vision 3D, right? But like, this is Michael. So the lead was, everybody was scurrying. Wait, he's coming in, and Jay, you gotta, and I'm like, what? And if I just could have stood there for one more second, I would have seen him, right? But they said, you gotta go in that room. They just wanted nobody around. So I went, they like shut the door on me, and I went into this room for a second. Right before they shut the door, this guy is walking towards me. He's got this weird hat on. He's like medium height, 5'10-ish, and he's this old guy. I don't know his name, but if you saw, he was Michael's like main guy for years. And Michael was right behind him,
Wow.
but I didn't see him.
Yeah, I
It
got a
killed me
similar
because I was
similar-
feet from him. I could have just went like, "Hi, Michael
Yeah.
Jackson, greatest ever." It would have been great, but I missed him.
I
So
hate
I was
that.
feet from that, and that's my sad story. But
Yeah, no, I have a similar sad story. I was working in pathology, and somebody brought me a Polaroid of him and Eddie Van Halen standing next to each other, and they're
Oh, my
standing
God.
outside my office door. I was like, Eddie Van Halen was outside my
It's the
office
same
door,
kind
and
of
you didn't
story.
bother knocking. You took a Polaroid with you
Come
stand. I mean, come on.
Eddie Van Halen, that solo on "Beat It" is awesome. It's
Yeah.
He's awesome,
Yeah, yeah.
legendary, man.
So now you're teaching a little bit now, side gig or something.
No, I was. I'm not currently, but I was doing I was like a teacher aide, like, at a school. My mom always wanted me to teach, but I never, I think you really got to want to do something, you know what I mean? Make that a career.
Yeah, no, I was just
Yeah, I did
curious
do that
about
years ago.
what your take on, because we hear so much,
Yeah.
and as you get older, it is natural to badmouth the younger generation, and
Right.
I don't buy into it because I had a 12-year-old on who had already published 7 books. She was on her 8th book, and she was writing really, really adult novels. And I was not
Genius.
sexy, but adult novels, very
That's amazing.
sophisticated. And I had a 17-year-old evolutionary biologist on my program. So I mean, I am very impressed with the younger generation. But
Yeah.
I think it's like everything. You can't just put everybody in one basket. Just wanted to get your take on that from your experience with the teaching stuff, Teacher's Aid.
Right. Wow. I mean, kids, I think it is harder today though, because the younger generation, it's not their fault. They're just like so cut off, right? Like they're so on their phones and everything. I just struggle. I just like to be face to face with people. So I worry about that. You know what I mean? They're just so, and okay, I get it. Like I'm doing good. Like I was happy. I made it on the show. I pulled it off, man. Like technology, I'm not that great with it. I got my phone. I'm like, okay, no, he said laptop. I'll set up the laptop. I can do it. I can do this. And my son looks at me like, my son's 23. He looks at me like, Dad. And I'm like, Jack, chill, man. My son Jackson, he's a great kid, but he's like, doesn't have
Yeah.
patience for me. But then I look at him and I go, okay, look at that clock right there. What time is it? It's about 10 after 6. No, it's 6:03. You were close. I mean, they can't tell time. You're close, and then make change. You cannot make the change.
Analog, yeah. He's a digital kid in an
But
analog
that's,
world.
I
mean, an analog. Yeah.
when I walk into a grocery store, the customer service, and I'm, or wherever, and I'm using cash. I try to use cash. I just look at them. They just start to sweat. It's like, it's okay. You can do it. I want them to be able to do it, but maybe I don't get it. The world is changing.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to keep you too long, but I did want to talk about
appreciate it.
Film stuff.
Yes, film. Love
because
film.
I've seen a couple of short clips where you were in film. What is your ambition there, and how do you approach that? I mean,
okay, well, I mean, obviously, what do you say in Syracuse? I can't be a working actor, but it's a really strong hobby, right? I have been paid here and there. I've done film, Syracuse University student films. I have been in some independent productions. I would love to be in films. We actually have a company that is here. Gosh, I'm terrible. I'm forgetting. It's. I think it's called American High. They make a lot of films that are basically, like a lot of high school kids are in the movie. So I'm thinking, well, I could play like the teacher. I've had some auditions, but it's hit or miss. I would love to be. I love film acting as well as stage. I'm not just like a stage guy.
Yeah, I just wonder, how people, because.
But Syracuse, there's just not enough going on around here, and
I think there is. I think there's a lot of independent stuff. It's just harder to find. And
no, you're right. There is. I stand corrected. There's independent stuff, locally, even as far as Albany, which isn't that far, or Buffalo, or Rochester, Binghamton,
Rockport.
I just got to venture out a little more. But then, do I have the time?
Yeah, no, no. It's just a cool thing, and I think it would be. No, it's a long way from Shakespeare, obviously, but there it is.
Well, my girlfriend is the breadwinner. Oh, God bless her. But it'd be horrible for me to say, because it's Syracuse. We're not. It's not. We the whole city needs to. We're not in terrible shape, but we need to do a lot better. And I can't say, honey, how come you're not making like $100,000 a year? So I can just sit around and be, I got to work too. I work. She's great. She supports me and everything. And I do my best to, but you're right. There's independent films. I see those, and a lot of them do pay. But I love film, and just, not to babble on and on, but we're running out of time. I don't want to keep you, but since we're talking about film, you talked a little bit about Jeff Altman. I mean, I do worry a little bit about movies. Again, this is the older guy thing, right? Though everything's there's no good stories hardly anymore, right, man? I mean, like, my favorite actor of all time is Jack Nicholson. I can watch, well, it's so deep and sad. I can't watch Cuckoo's Nest every day, but I can throw in Cuckoo's Nest, Terms of Endearment, A Few Good Men. I love Jack Nicholson. He's the best.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right.
Few Good Men.
But I also love, I know, because you're New York City. I love De Niro. He's phenomenal. Pacino. It goes on and on. All those older guys, though, are really the guys to me that I still, more than the newer guys, that I watch and study.
Yeah.
Right? And then, I don't want to sound all only, guys. I mean, Glenn Close, Michelle Pfeiffer, there's so many good actors, but they're all kind of older for me, and they're phenomenal working their craft. I love.
Just a perspective thing to keep in mind. Syracuse would be the biggest city in South Dakota, North Dakota, New Mexico, Idaho. It would be a metropolis. All
right, good. So I got to give, a comedian came here.
The reason I bring that up is because I have friends in those places that are pursuing the arts, and I'm like, really, that would be a small town on Long Island. Sioux Falls to South Dakota would be Babylon, Long Island.
Do you know the comedian? He's not real famous, but he's good though. He's an older guy. Do you know? Because I think he's from around you. Vic DiBitetto.
Yeah, he's from.
Okay, so Vic came to Syracuse. I think he's hysterical. It's been a long time, but he hasn't been here too recently. I saw Vic at the Funny Bone, and he was great, man. And I remember he just kept going, Syracuse, New York. He kept going, the little city that could. I love you guys. You're the little city that could. He just kept, peppering that in there between his rants. And I know with Vic, he's kind of a ranter. People don't always love that style, but I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
And I
a
was
big
so happy to see
Yankee
him.
fan.
Pardon?
Are you? He's a big Yankee fan.
Yeah, we should tie it up on that. I love your Mets jokes. I'm hoping that means you're a Yankee fan, right? Or no?
I'm not a baseball fan anymore. I'm sick.
You're not
of
a
the
baseball fan.
sport.
Okay.
I am just. I used to be my
I
whole
get
life.
it. You're
but
just sick of the whole.
I
Go ahead,
think
I'm sorry.
they've ruined the game completely. And
It's hard to watch.
we can go on about what ruined the game, but pitch counts and all the different rule changes, putting a guy on second base like
Yes, thank you.
baseball.
Oh my God, Matt, I was just talking to my brother about that. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate the runner on second. Yeah, it's okay. It's too bad. If we were starting the show, it could be a baseball rant. We don't have enough time. But man,
I think
yeah,
I saw you with the Yankee hat on. Which
I'm
is
a Yankee fan. I have been my whole life. My dad was a Yankee fan. A lot of people always go, "How can you root for the same team as your dad?" I think there's two ways it goes with your dad. If you start super young, like when you're 7, and dad is Superman to you, like my dad's so awesome, then you go with the same. I love the Yankees, so my dad likes. But if you get into it later, that teenage, if I never really discovered baseball till I was like 14, I would have been a Red Sox fan just to get after my dad.
Yeah.
Anything kind of goes that way. Like I can't root for your dad. I go with the Sox. Oh, I don't want to hear it about Boston. So
yeah, my
I was young.
brother. My brother was a mama's boy because my father was a New York Giants fan and my mother was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, and my brother grew up a Brooklyn Dodgers fan. So that's how old I am. My brother was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan.
Matt, you joke about that every now and then that you're old. You don't look old, man. I mean, you say it, but you're doing great. You don't look old. I
appreciate that. That's why I keep it dark.
Yeah, it's lighting is everything. Yeah. Well, see, I had to do this alone. My assistant isn't here. I don't have my makeup person and hairstylist. And my crew isn't here to help. I did my best.
Get it.
That real quick, that must have been the greatest time though, man, as a baseball fan. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
It was the New York Yankees, New York Giants. They had 3, right?
Yeah.
Yankees,
Giants
and Dodgers. Come on.
And
it's so awesome.
Yeah, the Dodgers against the Yankees, knowing they were going to lose every year, and the one time they didn't, it was like a miracle. It was like, I mean, the Dodgers were the precursors of the Mets, the perennial losers, and
right. Well, that was in the I'm gonna guess 50s, right? It was mid 50s. They beat the Yanks the one time, so at least they got them the once, I think, right? Good for them.
Well,
I love baseball, but it is hard. I get why you don't. It's very hard to stay a baseball fan right now.
Yeah,
very hard. I try.
And you know what? Not to belabor, but everything they've done to the game, they're trying to improve it. And I'm like, you know what? Everything you do to improve the game turns people away, but they're still making so much money off of the nonsense now. Joe List, who does a really funny comedian, he does play-by-play. He brings his little iPhone in, and he's doing like faux play-by-play stuff, and he's making fun of fans who need to be told to cheer. Like you go look at the scoreboard, make some noise, and they make noise, but they don't know why they're making noise.
Oh my God, I love it!
This is so embarrassing that these fans are so poor that poor on knowledge of the game that they don't even know what they're cheering for. They're just being told to cheer.
See, that's we're almost out of time. That's what I hate about. Okay, technology, it's great. Phones are great, but that's what I hate about phones. I've seen shots of friends of mine on Facebook that went to see Taylor Swift or something or whoever, and everybody's got their phone up. I'm like, oh, look, they're all there to miss it. They're not seeing it. Don't bring your phone. Just stop.
Right. Yeah.
Why are you just experience? You're
experience life, and to experience life, go see Shakespeare in the Park. Every other Tuesday. Follow Jay. I have your comedy page on Facebook listed here. I couldn't find a website.
Yeah, I don't have a website. I got to get better. If I was gonna, I got to get one. But thanks.
No,
It's a
this is
combination.
fine. You list the performance dates and all that stuff for the Shakespeare in the Park anyway on your comedy page. So people will go there. It's in the description, and people can click on it. Jay, it's been my pleasure to have you on this morning. You're a great guy. Come back sometime, and
I will. If you invite me back, I'll be back, Matt. You're great. Love being on your show. Really appreciate it. And hang in there with the seasonal depression. We need some sun.
I'm sure by the weekend.
Watch the breathing.
I'll be on the beach this weekend playing music,
Yes.
and it will be a wonderful time. And summer will be here. That's what.
Yes, sir. All right. Thanks so much. I had a great time. Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye for now. Jay Marenti, folks. Follow him. Cool guy. No, the alarm is going off here. I forgot to get off of Governors last week. I forget who I had on, but 2.5 hours. Oh, it's Dylan Brody. And I did a 3-hour show and overran Governor's podcast, Knock 'em Dead. Knocked them off the air and so I'm still apologizing for that. Great conversation with Jay there. I hope you will follow him and support him and go out. Listen, I know Shakespeare is difficult to if you're not familiar with it, and the language stuff can get really, but I have seen Hamlet. I've seen Hamlet live, and if you can allow yourself to go there and really don't bring your phone, pay close attention to what's going on, and really devote your energy to the show, it can be a really, really, really deep, meaningful experience. So check that out, and support Jay as well. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. Write to me at info@minddogtv.com, info@minddogtv.com. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be back to wrap things up in just a couple of minutes. I just want to let you know that TrueFire is the best place to learn guitar online. If you're looking to learn guitar like your heroes, like, I don't know, who's your heroes? Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, Tommy Emmanuel, Frank Vignola, lots of great stars like that. John Mayer, even. You can learn from Greg Koch. People who are great pros, teach one-on-one lessons or direct lessons. They've got so much to offer. TrueFire.com.
Over 2 million guitar players worldwide learn, practice, and play with TrueFire. Our learning tools and massive library of video lessons will ignite your technical skills, harmonic knowledge, rhythm playing, and soloing chops. TrueFire's educators are the best in the biz, from Grammy Award winners to world-renowned artists. You'll have access to an unparalleled faculty of over 300 top-notch blues, rock, jazz, country, fingerstyle, and acoustic guitar educators. Using our desktop and mobile apps, you'll work with TrueFire's multi-angle video lessons on any device, anytime, anywhere. Integrated learning tools such as video synced tab and notation, slow-mo, looping, practice jam tracks, and many more handy controls accelerate your learning experience. TrueFire style-specific learning paths guide you every step of the way. Use our assessment tools to find your starting point, then follow our lesson recommendations and track your progress as you work through your personalized TrueFire study plan. Progress faster with private one-on-one instruction, group lessons, multi-track video jams, live streams, song lessons, student forums, TrueFire's Riff magazine, premium jam tracks, and much, much more. With thousands of 5-star ratings and reviews from amateur and pro players alike, you'll find yourself in good company with the world's most comprehensive guitar learning platform. Grab your guitar and ignite your musicality. Sign up free for an all-access trial today.
$300 members in their faculty. That's a lot of great guitar players to learn from. Anyway, TrueFire.com. Please go there if you are interested. If you're not, just share the link with friends who are interested in learning guitar, whether they're beginners or advanced and want to just get better, all that kind of stuff. Great conversation with Jay. Looking forward to that for a long time, and glad it finally happened. Tomorrow, Ian O'Connor, who is an author of historical fiction about the JFK assassination, will be with me for about 10 to 12 minutes. He's an older gentleman, and his publicist said, be kind to him. Do not have an hour conversation with him. So I'm going to let him go after like 12 minutes or 10 minutes or 12 minutes, so thereabout. And then Jackie the Joke Man Martling will be my guest, busting my balls about, I don't know exactly what he's got something that he's angry about me, angry about that with me, that he wants to bring up and talk about. And we'll find out why he's mad at me. Jackie is now one of the mainstays of the program. He's on like every 2 weeks now. I think I am becoming Howard Stern after all. I never wanted to become Howard Stern, even though I was tagged with that label very young. Anyway, that's the show for today. Listen to us on Live 365. Get the app and leave a good review. If you got the app, if you downloaded the app, whether it's the iOS version for Apple or the Google Android, leave us a good review on the store of your choice, and that will definitely help. Also, we have some new merch in the store I'd like to let you know about. Great new designs. Seem to be pretty popular. People are loving the 70s retro versions of the t-shirts and cups and stuff like that. Stuff that helps support the program and will help support the contributors. Robert Taylor's Louisville show is tomorrow night. I want to let you know about that. Here's the link for that. World Series of Comedy / Louisville. He just got picked up for another one of those World Series of Comedy in, I want to say, Minneapolis. I could be wrong about that. One of those M place. Michigan? No, it's Minneapolis, Minnesota, I believe. I don't know. Go to Robert's page and find that. Actually, on my Facebook page, I've shared that stuff. On my Twitter page, I will be putting it on minddogtv.com. Unfortunately, we can't put it on YouTube until next Monday. Next Monday, we will be back on YouTube. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to turn on your radio. And that's all. Bye for now.
me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.